Yeah, the recording is on, so we can begin the session. I invite Lata Kumar ma'am to welcome all the participants and our guest speaker for today, Dr. Neha Raval. Lata ma'am, over to you.
थैंक यू डॉक्टर निधि। हमारा आज का सेशन ग्लोबल इन्फ्लुएंस ऑफ इंडियन नॉलेज एंड ट्रेडिशन टॉपिक पर होने जा रहा है। हमारी आज की स्पीकर हैं डॉक्टर नेहा रावल जी, सहायक अध्यापक, भारतीय विद्या भवन स्नेह आर्य कॉलेज ऑफ आर्ट्स एंड कॉमर्स, अहमदाबाद, गुजरात से। मैम, आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है। मैं इस सत्र में अपनी महाविद्यालय प्राचार्य और पैटर्न प्रोफेसर अंजू सिंह जी का स्वागत करती हूँ। हमारे साथ जुड़े हुए हमारे को कोऑर्डिनेटर्स डॉक्टर निधि और डॉक्टर विकास जी का भी मैं बहुत बहुत स्वागत करती हूँ। हमारी आयोजन समिति का के सभी सदस्यों का स्वागत करती हूँ और इस आभासी मंच से जुड़े हुए जितने भी हमारे प्रतिभागी हैं उन सभी का भी मैं बहुत बहुत स्वागत करती हूँ। आज के इस कार्यक्रम में आप सभी का स्वागत है। इंडियन नॉलेज सिस्टम निश्चित तौर पर हम सभी के लिए आज एक बहुत ही रोचक विषय है और हम सभी उससे जुड़ने के लिए, उसके बारे में जानने के लिए बहुत ज्यादा उत्सुक हैं कि इंडियन नॉलेज सिस्टम आखिर है क्या। अब मैं जब इसके बारे में सोचती हूँ डॉक्टर निधि, तो मुझे ऐसे लगता है कि हम बचपन से जो सीख रहे हैं एक्चुअली वो वही इंडियन नॉलेज सिस्टम है कि हमारी नानी दादी और हमारी माँ ने जो हमें सिखाया जीवन जीने के तरीके, कैसे हमें काम करना है, कैसे हमें खाना है। मैं बचपन से जो चीजें याद करती हूँ, आज वो बहुत छोटी थी उस समय पर और ऐसा लगता था कि अरे क्या है ये चीजें, लेकिन आज वही चीजें कि हमें किस तरीके से कार्य व्यवहार करना है। हमारे घर में जो बहुत छोटी छोटी चीजें थी, त्योहार मनाए जाते थे, जो दीवारों पे चित्रकारी की जाती थी, जमीन पर चित्रकारी की जाती थी विभिन्न त्योहारों के समय में, वो सब आजकल इंडियन नॉलेज सिस्टम का पार्ट बन गई हैं। तो ये एक बहुत बड़ी चीज है। और जब मैं एक सोशियोलॉजी के स्टूडेंट के नाते से देखती हूँ तो जितनी भी हमारी लोक संस्कृतियां हैं, हमारे लोक गीत हैं, वो सब इंडियन नॉलेज सिस्टम का पार्ट है। कहीं ना कहीं बहुत सारी ऐसी चीजें हैं जो लिखित में नहीं है, लेकिन ओरली हमें नानी दादी से प्राप्त हुई हैं, फिर माँ ने हमें सिखाई हैं और हम अपने बच्चों को सिखा रहे हैं। तो ये इंडियन नॉलेज सिस्टम का एक बहुत महत्वपूर्ण पार्ट है और इस पर अगर थोड़ा सा काम किया जाए तो हम देखेंगे कि बहुत सारी संभावनाएं इसमें हैं। तो हमारे साथ जो लोग भी जुड़े हुए हैं इंडियन नॉलेज सिस्टम के माध्यम से, वो बहुत सारी चीजों पर, बहुत सारे विषयों पर काम कर सकते हैं। आप ग्रामीण और ऐसे इलाकों में जाइए जहाँ पर लोग पढ़े लिखे नहीं है, लेकिन ज्ञान की जो परंपरा है वो उनके पास भी कम नहीं है, बहुत है। और हम वहां से उसको इकट्ठा कर सकते हैं और अपने इन सभी जो विषय जो लिखित हैं इनके साथ जोड़ सकते हैं। इसकी बहुत जरूरत है। आप देखिए जाकर जो लोग पढ़े लिखे नहीं हैं, जो महिलाएं पढ़ी लिखी नहीं, लेकिन घरों में भी वो बहुत सारी उन सभी चीजों को परंपरात्मक रूप से करती आ रही हैं, जो हमारे स्वास्थ्य के लिए भी अच्छी हैं, हमारे जीवन के लिए भी अच्छी हैं और बहुत सारे संस्कारों से जुड़ी हुई हैं। तो निश्चित तौर पर इस पर बहुत सारा काम होना बाकी है और आगे लोग जुड़ेंगे तो काम करेंगे। ये बहुत अच्छा सत्र जा रहा है और डॉक्टर निधि जी आपका बहुत बहुत मैं धन्यवाद कर रही हूँ कि आप बहुत अच्छे से इस कोर्स का संचालन कर रही हैं। मैं पुनः एक बार शहीद मंगल पांडे राजकीय स्नातकोत्तर महिला महाविद्यालय की तरफ से आप सभी का स्वागत और अभिनंदन करती हूँ। धन्यवाद। जय हिंद।
धन्यवाद लता कुमार मैडम जी, आपने बहुत ही उचित भूमिका बनाई है इस सत्र के लिए और आपने सही कहा कि भारतीय होने का जो एहसास है, भारतीय होने का जो तत्व है, द एसेंस ऑफ बीइंग इंडियन, जो कई तरह से हम अनुभव करते हैं हमारे निजी जीवन में, डेली रूटीन में, जो हमारी लोक कथाएं हैं, लोकगीत है, हमारी जो ज्ञान परंपरा है अलग अलग क्षेत्रों में, हेल्थ, वेलनेस, कल हमने पतंजलि योग सूत्र की बात की है, इंजीनियरिंग, टेक्नोलॉजी, विज्ञान, डॉक्टर नेहा जो हमारे साथ आज जुड़ी हुई हैं वो स्टैटिस्टिक्स की एक्सपर्ट हैं, तो स्टेम सब्जेक्ट्स, सोशल साइंसेस, भाषाएं, हमारे जो क्रिएटिव परफॉर्मिंग आर्ट्स थे, ड्रामेटिक ट्रेडिशंस थे, उन सभी का जो ज्ञान का भंडार है उसे हम भारतीय ज्ञान परंपरा कह सकते हैं। और मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि हर सिविलाइजेशन की, हर संस्कृति की अपनी ज्ञान परंपरा होती है। आप जापान जाइए, चीन जाइए, अफ्रीकन सब कॉन्टिनेंट जाइए, हर किसी संस्कृति की अपनी ज्ञान परंपरा है और उस ज्ञान परंपरा के अनुसार उनका एक वर्ल्ड व्यू है, एक फिलॉसफी है, दर्शन है, और उस हिसाब से वहाँ के जो लोग हैं अपना जीवन व्यतीत करते हैं। तो भारतीय होने के नाते मुझे लगता है ये बहुत ही ऑर्गेनिक है. It is quite natural that we should know what our knowledge systems are all about. So, with this, I welcome all participants once again. और आज का जो सत्र है वह सच में रोचक होने वाला है, क्योंकि हम ना सिर्फ भारतीय ज्ञान परंपरा की बात करेंगे, बट उसके ग्लोबल इन्फ्लुएंस की बात करेंगे. इसके बारे में जब हम सोचते हैं, हमें कई बार ऐसा लगता है कि भारत की जो ज्ञान परंपरा है वो भारत तक ही सीमित रही, अखंड भारत की बाउंड्रीज तक सीमित रही. पर अगर आप श्री राज वेदम का लेक्चर सुनेंगे, जो मैं सेशन के बाद आप सभी के साथ व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप पर शेयर करूंगी, उसमें उन्होंने बहुत ही हिस्टोरिकली, साइंटिफिकली, क्रोनोलॉजिकली ट्रेस किया है. थोड़ा टेक्निकल लगेगा अगर आप वो लेक्चर ध्यान से सुनेंगे, बट ही हैज ट्राइड टू ट्रेस कि भारत का जो ज्ञान का भंडार है वो बाहर की संस्कृतियों में कैसे पहुंचा. वो ग्रीक्स का एग्जाम्पल देते हैं, अरब वर्ल्ड का एग्जाम्पल देते हैं, कई अलग विषयों का एग्जाम्पल देते हैं, जैसे लैंग्वेजेस, मैथमेटिक्स, कई सारे स्कॉलर्स का एग्जाम्पल देते हैं जो बाहर के देशों से हमारे यहाँ आए और हमारे ज्ञान के भंडार को, उसका फायदा उन्होंने भी उठाया. तो इस बारे में आज डॉक्टर नेहा हमें एनलाइटन करेंगी, और ये मेरा सौभाग्य है कि मैं उन्हें इंट्रोड्यूस कर रही हूँ आप सभी के सामने, क्योंकि नॉट ओनली शी इज एन एस्टीम्ड कॉलीग, अ ग्रेट स्कॉलर, बट शी इज ऑल्सो अ वेरी डियर फ्रेंड. और हमने साथ ही के समय में हमने पीएचडी की पढ़ाई पूरी की थी एक ही विश्वविद्यालय से. और एनएलडी के साथ डॉक्टर नेहा जुड़ी रहती हैं क्वांटिटेटिव डेटा एनालिसिस टेक्निक्स सिखाने के लिए. So, Dr. Neha Raval, she is a Sahayak Adhyapak at Bhartiya Vidyabhavan Sheth RA College of Arts and Commerce, Ahmedabad, Gujarat. She's a passionate learner of quantitative techniques, and she has been teaching statistics and mathematical subjects for the last 14 years. So she has over a decade of teaching and research experience, and she always strives to apply quantitative techniques from various perspectives to different fields, especially to social sciences. She completed her PhD in 2018 from the Department of Statistics, Faculty of Science, the Maharaja Sayajirao University of Baroda. And for her PhD work, she focused on Six Sigma and its application in the field of digital marketing. She holds master's degrees in statistics and mathematics, and she has done several courses, programs, earned many certificates, especially from premier institutes like the Indian Statistical Institute, Bangalore. She has delivered more than 30 expert lectures. I think, Dr. Neha, you need to update the number because I'm sure it's more than that. And she's a certified trainer in Vedic mathematics and abacus learning. She has had a vast teaching experience in statistics and mathematics with Vanita Vishram, Women's University, Surat, Gujarat, Department of Human Resource Development, Veer Narmad, South Gujarat University, Surat. And she has, as I shared with all of you, she has been associated with NLD, where she conducts faculty development programs on quantitative data analysis techniques, quantitative research methodology. So she is a STEM person basically, but she is an IKS enthusiast. Currently, she is pursuing a master's in Indian knowledge systems from Gujarat University, Ahmedabad, and I am absolutely delighted that somebody from the STEM perspective is with us, because that is also a very crucial perspective that all of us need to be aware of. So, Dr. Neha, delighted to welcome you once again on this platform. And for the past 3 days, we have had sessions on Niti Shastra, Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, and how to use an IKS lens to understand major political concepts. So I am very sure that today's exposition by you on how the impact of Indian knowledge system is not just limited to India's boundaries, but it has traveled across the world and it has influenced other knowledge systems as well, is going to be a very, very rich and insightful addition in our journey in this course. So welcome, and over to you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nidhi, for having me and for introducing me to the audience. Dhanyavad aapka. And my Guruji always says, हमें सिर्फ लगता है कि हम कुछ कर रहे हैं. Everything is destined. सब कुछ ईश्वर ने पहले से डिसाइड किया हुआ है. तो मुझे लगता है कि मेरी ये जो जर्नी है IKS के प्रति, वो बस उन्हीं के द्वारा दिए गई एक डायरेक्शन है. तो by taking the blessing of Lord Shiva, let's begin our today's session. Dr. Nidhi, shall I share my screen?
Yes, you can please go ahead. Meanwhile, I'll just make you the co-host, and participants, it will be very nice if all of you can be interactive and you could also post your questions, insights and comments in the chat box. Chat box में अगर आप कुछ ना कुछ लिखते रहेंगे, शेयर करते रहेंगे तो बहुत अच्छा है.
बिल्कुल, that would be great. It's a mutual learning platform. It would be great to know from you all as well.
Yeah, your screen is visible to us.
Okay. Is it fine? Is it working well?
Sorry, I didn't realize it. I was on mute. Yeah, the slides are moving. We can see.
Okay. Fine. So let's begin with our today's topic, the global tapestry, Indian knowledge and tradition. As we all know that India was the intellectual and cultural epicenter of the whole world. And that was not just because India was rich with reference to resources, but because the cultural wealth that India had, which traveled through across the boundaries and in various nations. So when we talk about cultural exchange or spanning or spreading the culture of India across the globe, we can understand this with reference to various major dimensions. One of the major dimensions is trade and commerce. So trade and commerce played a very important role to spread the Indian knowledge in various parts of the world. We were discussing in detail about how, through trade and commerce, various components of Indian culture spread in the various components of various parts of the world. Trade and commerce also leads to religious influence in various parts of the world. So we're going to discuss in detail about how two major Indian religious beliefs, they cross the boundaries and they spread it across the various countries of the world. So we'll be discussing in detail about how Buddhism and Hinduism spread over the various countries in the world. When we talk about religious influence, it also leads to linguistic reach in various parts of the world. So we'll be discussing about how the ancient Indian language, Sanskrit, spreaded in specifically East Asian countries, and how the various languages of East Asian countries has a root in Sanskrit. When we talk about cultural exchange, when we talk about dynasties spreading their region over various parts of the world, the major and important component that signifies their presence is art and architecture. So we're going to discuss about how various component or various art form and architecture in different parts of the world, they gives us idea about presence of our Indian civilization. And by the end of the session, we'll be discussing about spread of Indian sciences in various parts of the world. So let us try to understand how Indian trade was working, and how when we talk about Indian trade, so Indian trade was specifically working through two different routes called silk routes and spice routes. So silk routes are basically the trade routes over the land, whereas spice routes are basically the trade routes over the seas or maritime routes. Now, trade of India has been mentioned or has been explored right from the beginning of Indus Valley civilization. The archaeological evidence shows that there was a very close or very close trade connection between ancient Indus Valley civilization and Mesopotamian civilization. So we can see here the ancient trade route, Silk Route is running from China to Rome or Europe. And when we talk about spice route, it is very, very well expanded from east to west. So when we talk about Indian trade routes or trade of ancient India with various ancient civilization, one of the major component is trade of ancient Indus Valley civilization or Sindhu Saraswati civilization with ancient Mesopotamian civilization. Along with this international trade routes, we had our own internal trade routes in India, which were known as Uttarapath and Dakshinapath. So Uttarapath was basically running from the Tamralipti, the eastern port of India, till the currently Afghanistan. And Dakshinapath had many branches through which the traders were traveling across the various parts of India. Now, these trade routes, they were not just the routes to exchange the goods, but they're the routes to exchange the ideas, culture, art, literature, and many more things. So, the intersection of this Uttarapath and Dakshinapath was, so the Saraswat is the place where this Uttarapath and Dakshinapath were intersecting, which is nowadays is known as the place wherein we have that is the place wherein Lord Buddha first gave his first sermon, because that was at the intersection of two trade routes. So in order to reach out to as many people as possible, Buddha decided this place. So when we talk about trade routes, this internal Indian trade routes were very well connected through international trade routes. So you can see here, this Uttarapath is getting connected with Silk Route somewhere near Afghanistan. And one of the major university of ancient India, Taxila, was also on this trade route. Hence, at Taxila, we can see that major people from various different countries are visiting this place. So that is very nice description of Taxila given in the book by D.G. Apte, The Ancient Indian Universities, wherein he has mentioned how the Taxila was working. He has very nicely narrated how the travelers and the students across the globe were visiting Taxila for their studies. Because in Taxila, we had one of the best teachers of the world. It is said that at that point of time, Taxila had the whole corpus of knowledge that required to understand any subject in the world. Not only that, the type of subjects that had been taught at Taxila is very, very interesting. Apart from Vedas, Upavedas, Vedangas, and many major Indian texts, at Taxila, various different kalas were taught. And they're very interesting kalas. For example, at Taxila, they're also teaching the kala of snake charming. Right? आप कोई सर्प को कैसे सम्मोहित कर सकते हैं? There was also a kala, how you can search for hidden treasure. खजाना कैसे ढूंढ सकते हैं? Right? So apart from the major subjects, these are the kalas that were taught at Taxila. Not only that, there is very detailed description about how the whole university Taxila was working. Basically, Taxila was not a structured university. It was a town. It was a town university where a student used to come and they used to stay at Guru's place or at the place of citizens. And then they used to study various subjects, and there was no formal examinations. And by the end of the study, I mean, even only the guru can decide whether the student is capable enough to complete his study or not. So Taxila was the major center of study. Not only that, Taxila was also a major center of Buddhist studies. We will see how Buddhist stupa or how Buddhist monasteries got rich by their alliances with various merchant guilds. So moving ahead with ancient trade routes with Mesopotamia, wherein the major agriculture, so from India, there were major agricultural products, textile, timber, ivory, lapis lazuli was one of the major semi-precious stone which has been mentioned in various ancient Mesopotamian texts, where they mention India as a Meluha. Meluha means the distant prosperous land. And this lapis lazuli was found in Afghanistan. From Afghanistan, this stone was getting brought to India, wherein we had very skilled craftsmen who used to stud the stone in various jewelries. And those jewelries got sent back to Mesopotamia. So Mesopotamians, they were considering India as the distant prosperous land. Apart from that, we have had many and various proof of presence of Indians in Mesopotamia. For example, in Mesopotamia, uh, we uh, we found many potteries, we found toys, which indicates that it was not only the Indian merchants, those who traveled to Mesopotamia, but they traveled with the whole family. There is also some seal which indicates the presence of water buffaloes and some hump animals which are not found in Mesopotamia. But Indian merchants were so rich, they were bringing all those animals along with them to serve them milk. There is also remains of card game and dice in Mesopotamia, which again brought through the merchants of Meluha. There is one whole town found of Meluhians in Mesopotamia. Apart from that, there is a mention of Indian women running tavern in Mesopotamia. Right, so not only Indian merchants were making trade with the ancient city, ancient civilization, but also the women's, those who were very much into the economical activity in the distant land. There is also mention of a Meluhian uh, who find with 10 silver ignet because he got into the quarrel with local and he broke his teeth. So all these small evidences gives us the clear picture of how Indian merchants had effect on the distant civilization. In addition to that, there is a proof, or there is proof of Indian cinnamon found in the nose of Egyptian mummies. So cinnamon was one of the major product that was imported from India. Apart from that, Indian diamonds were used to cut the pyramids. Not only that, Indian merchants, they were worshipping at the temples, the local temples, and they were also donating quite hefty amount of or many precious things at the temples of Mesopotamia. The very first person who traveled to Meluha from this civilization was Eudox, who traveled to India, wherein he gave lift to Indian merchant, and in return, he asked him to show him the route. And Eudox, after the first travel to Meluha, first travel to India, he traveled twice to India. Now, moving ahead with Roman trade. So, after the death of Cleopatra, the whole Egypt was under the Roman Empire. So, the whole Red Sea trade was in the hand of Romans. And Romans were importing diamonds, rubies, teak, sandalwood, many other things, elephant tusk, Indian cotton, Chinese silk. So they were importing all these things from India. Now, in Roman trade, they were taxing all the imports which are coming to Roman Empire, and the material or the goods that are reaching to the Roman Empire, sometimes they were costing 100 times more than their original products. Romans were even importing tigers, leopards, panthers, rhinoceros, elephants, so many wild animals to make them fight at Colosseum. Not only that, many spices were also getting imported in ancient Rome from India, like cloves, cinnamon like plants which are used to make perfumes, which was very popular in Roman Empire. Paper. So these were some products that were used in Roman Empire, that were imported in Roman Empire from India. Now, after the death of Cleopatra, there was very much change in the trade with India from the Roman Empire. So as many as 120 ships were traveling to India every year, and that brought to approximately 55 million of trade every year between Rome and India. And hence, the majority of the Roman gold treasures were reaching to India. And that disturbed this army commander, Pliny. So Pliny was the army commander at Roman Empire. And at that point of time, when there was a trade between Rome and India, 80% of the Italian cookbook had ingredient of paper. So paper was one of the major ingredient in the dishes of Roman Empire, and so people were ready to pay high for that spice. But Pliny didn't like paper, probably because he might be knowing that how much it is costing to that empire. Now, the trade with Romans was so flourished that Chola and Chera kings, they sent their committee to the Roman Empire to settle the debt of Roman Empire that they were not able to pay to the Indian merchants. And looking to the gold that were going to the Indian Empire, the Emperor Pliny in 70 CE, he paused the trade with Indus Valley civilization. He paused the trade with India. And after that, the Pallava kings of South India, they started to explore the another land from where they can get gold. And that is where they started moving towards East Asia, and they started exploring the trade routes of Suvarnabhumi, or land of gold. And Pallava's kings were one of the major dynasty who initiated and who flourished this eastern trade routes. All these trade routes and the trade with various countries bring along the religious influence and henceforth the political influence in various parts of the world. For example, during his conquest to India, Alexander met with Shramanas, who are mentioned as gymnosophists in the Roman literature. They were sadhus who preached Alexander about the illusionary life. And in the convoy of Alexander, there was a poet, Piero of Elis. Now, Piero of Elis was so enchanted by the ideas of the Shramana, the Sadhu, that after going back to Rome, he lived a life of wanderer. And he renounced all his belongings. One of the major empires that played important role in spreading the religion and henceforth bringing political influence in various parts of the world was the Kushan Empire. That was the empire of Middle Asian countries, and they were ruling the Pakistan, Afghanistan, and northern part of India. And gradually they were sent back by the Chinese Empire. So they're wandering in the various cities of Greeks. So this Kushan Empire, or kings of Kushan Empire, they were combining the culture and religious belief of various civilizations like Greek, Rome, Persian, and India. So we can say, so they were worshipping as many as 30 deities. Some were from the Hinduism and Buddhism, and few are from Greek religious beliefs. So even Kushans, when they were moving ahead in India, when they were expanding their kingdom in various parts of India, so they opened up the Hindu Kush Pass, and that played a very important role in spreading Buddhism in the western part of the world. So through this Hindu Kush pass, many Buddhist monks, they traveled to Afghanistan. And you can see this is one of the major architectural component that you can see in Afghanistan, that is Mes-Ayang monastery. And this monastery was one of the major center of Buddhist learning and spreading the idea of Buddhism in various parts of the world. It is said that this is the place from which Buddhism spread it to China. Now, in Kushan Empire, the second king of Kushan Empire, Vimakapasi, was the believer of Shiva. His father was Buddhist, and he was the believer of Shiva, and he was the one who started minting coins in India. So during the Kushan Empire, during Vimakapasi, we had the very first coin minting process in India. So you can see here in the coins of Kushan Empire, in the upright coin, you can see the emblem of Shiva with Trishula, and in the second coin you can see Buddha, and here you can see the coins with various Greek deities. As I said, Kushans were combining the cultural aspects of many various civilizations. Apart from, in addition to that, Vimakapasi also established a shrine of Shiva and Parvati in Afghanistan. It is called the Bhujan Shrine in Afghanistan. During the Kushan Empire, the human form of Buddha getting popularized. Before that, Buddha was worshipped in the form of tree, Bodhisattva tree, or in the form of footprints. But during the Kushan Empire, Buddha started appearing in human form. It is also said that Mahayana Buddhism got originated during this empire only. So Lotus Sutra of Mahayana Buddhism, it talks about how one can accelerate their path through nirvana through intense devotion, sacred mantra chanting, or earning merits through gift. So in Buddhism, there is very important component of how the Buddhist monasteries or how the Buddhist setup can align with various merchant guilds. So through that alliances, they can get various gifts, they can get very precious gifts, which can in turn help them to expand their religion. So Lotus Sutra mention about which kind of gift the Buddhist monasteries can accept, like 7 precious metals, gold, silver, lapis lazuli, and few other more. Uh, if we read about Nalanda, the very famous Buddhist university, wherein they had actually committees, and one of the committees was looking after uh, all the wealth of the university. Wherein university was getting wealth in the form of precious metals, in the form of land, in the form of river bodies, and many more. So, because of that, the Takshashila University and even that matter Nalanda University was so rich that they can fund various monasteries in different part of the world. So the fund was going from Takshashila, and one of the monastery that is established in Afghanistan is Hada Monastery. There is one more which is called now Bahar Monastery in Balkh region of Afghanistan, and this was again one of the major center of Buddhist learning in Afghanistan. Taktai Bahi, Mardan, all these major monasteries were funded through Takshashila University. If we talk about Bactria, again, a part of Afghanistan, Uzbekistan, wherein it was under the Greek influence. So they had their own religious beliefs, but few of them embraced Buddhism, and their Buddha was known as Lord Shakyamuni. So Lord Shakyamuni is considered as the ancient version of Buddha, and that again uh, uh, leverage the spread of Buddhism in the Middle Asian countries. King Milinda from Peshawar in current Pakistan, he got into the debate with a Buddhist monk Nagasena, and he got defeated. And after that debate, Milinda renounced from his kingdom and became the Buddhist monk. So all these are the evidences which tells us how Buddhism got spreaded over various part of the world. One of the major, we can say, incidents, or one of the major incidents through which we can understand how Indian culture got spreaded in the eastern part of the India is through the travel experiences of various travelers. And one of the celebrated traveler who came to India and who studied in India at Nalanda University, stayed in India for 16 long years, and he recorded his experience in India in his memoir, Record of the Western World, Cheng Zhong. So Zhong Cheng was the influential kid from the Chinese Empire, and during this early 7th century, the Chinese state was under the civil war. So Zhong Cheng was observing the discrepancy between what he has been taught and what is there in the text of Buddhism. So he traveled through the various monasteries in China, but he didn't got the satisfying answer. So he decided to travel to the land of Buddhism, and hence he started his journey from China to India. At that point of time, the Chinese Empire, so he proposed the Chinese Empire to travel to India, and his proposal got rejected. But anyhow, he started his travel to India, And in this memoir, he has nicely narrated his experiences while traveling towards India, how he got attacked by the officials of the kingdom, and how he got saved by various people on his way to India. So after long years, he reached India. And in India, he wanted to study the most authentic practice of Mahayana called Yogacara. Again, a practice of yoga with reference to Buddhist philosophy. And he wanted to study it under 106-year-old Acharya, Venerable Tilabhadra. Now, how this Buddhism got his foot in China is not very much clear, but the earliest record says the Han ruler Ming, in his dream, he saw a golden being with nimbus behind. And hence, he sent a group of people to India, and the Buddhism brought back to China. And along with Buddhism, there are many other things that started part of Chinese civilization. With Buddhism, there comes astronomy, mathematics, science, architecture, literature. So everything came to China. Apart from that, instead of the circulatory stupa that we see here in India, in China, they adopted a different form of architecture for monastery, which is layered monasterical form. So you can see here one of the major or one of the important Chinese monastery called White Horse Monastery. Not only that, they also developed a cultural, architectural part, which is called Sino-Buddhist sculptures, wherein the various parts of the bodies of the sculpture are in the mudra, in Indian mudra. So you can see here the hand gestures are like, in various Indian mudras. And the face is basically Chinese. So that was Indo-Buddhist sculptural format, is the combination of Indian and Chinese architectural structures. He also, Xuanzang also, in his memoir, also described his experience at Nalanda. Like when he reached at Nalanda University, how hundreds of acharyas and thousands of students were there to welcome him at the university, and how he entered at the university on his knees, and he bowed down to his acharya, and his acharya was crying because he had a dream, and in that dream Buddha told him to wait for the Chinese student and to teach him the religion of Dharma. Xuanzang also mentioned how lavishly he was, made to study at Nalanda University. He was given, most of the things were given free to him, right? He had unlimited supply of milk and butter. He was given 2 servants. He was also given an elephant to move around. He also mentioned about the libraries in Nalanda University, wherein the library itself had 3 different buildings, Ratna Sagar, Ratna Nidhi, and Ratna Ranjika, wherein there was a pile of Buddhist literature. And Xuanzang, he made or he used to make a copy of all those Buddhist scripts, which he wanted to bring back to his country. During his visit, he also met that time King Harsha, and he also mentioned about how he had a dialogue with King Harsha, and how King Harsha felicitated his journey back to China. So Chuanchong stayed here in China, in India for 16 long years, and he traveled across India. So while going back to his country, while going back to China, he had more than 600 books, many artifacts. He had hundreds of camels, and he had elephants on which he was taking his journey back to China, given by King Harsha. And when he reached to China, so when he left China, he broke the rules of the empire, and when he came back, he was welcomed by the Chinese king, and he was proposed to be a part of Chinese government. But he denied for that, and he decided to write his experiences of travel to India, and that is where he came up with his memoir in Record of a Western World.
Dr. Neha, just giving you a time check. It's 7:26. I thought I should just give you a time check in case you would want to.
Thank you, Dr. Nidhi. I hope my pace is fine. I mean, let's see how much we'll be able to cover. As I just speed up a little bit.
Yeah, sure. We can go on till 7:45, after which we'll have to kind of take questions and comments.
Sure, Dr. Nidhi.
Yeah.
So he reached back to China, wherein he was offered a position in government, which he denied, and then he started writing his experiences of his travel to India. He also made a setup wherein he started translating Sanskrit script. So he invited experts from India, and that is how Indian monks, Indian experts, they started traveling to China. So as Chinese monks and Chinese people started coming back to India, and that brought in the cultural exchange of both the countries. There is mention of Bodhidharma, who was in Chinese text, who was considered as the Pallava king. And he was the one who brought in Zen Buddhism in China, and also brought Buddhist Indian martial art to China. When we talk about bringing in the full-fledged Buddhism to China, that was through Emperor Wen. The Sui dynasty, when China was under civil war, and gradually Emperor Wen understand the importance of Buddhism in order to keep that country united. So he took many steps in order to spread Buddhism across China. He erected many stupas in various parts of China. He also declared holidays when the stupa construction got completed. And he was the one during which the whole China got united. Then you can see here the Great Wise Goose Pagoda, which was erected by the traveler Chuanchong, wherein he kept all the script that he brought from India. The major change in the relation between India and China came with the alliance of traveler Chuanchong with the Chinese emperors Wu Zhuesen. Though there is no evidence of direct connect between these two, but Wu Zhenzhen wanted to become the Empress of China, and the Chinese religion was not allowing her for doing that. And using the scriptures of Zhongshong, she was able to uh, put herself on the throne of Empress. And that's where the major relationship between India and China got initiated. So she sent many gifts to Nalanda University. Many experts again were called to China, especially astrologers, because she was very much interested in observing the various planets, and she invited many astrologers from India as well. So the period of this empress is considered as one of the important period of cultural exchange between India and China. Beyond China, the Indian culture got spread through the various Pallava kings, and one of the king was Mahendravarman. Again, Mahendravarman got he embraced Hinduism. He was Jain, and then he embraced Hinduism through the points and Apar. So during Mahendravarman, Mahendravarman's kingdom, he erected many cave temples, and he was the one who first constructed the various cave temples.
Dr. Neha, I'm not able to hear you. Okay, I think there's some network issue from your end. In between, I lost your voice for about 2 to 3 seconds.
Okay, am I audible now?
Yes, yeah. You can continue from this slide, no problem. Maybe there may be some network issue at my end also, because in between your voice was a little choppy.
Yeah. Is it fine now? Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. You're audible.
Okay. So even during this Pallava dynasty, this Bhakti movement blossomed in southern India, and they also patronize bronze. So we can see various bronze artifacts in various part of India. And one of the major literary work that was done during Pallava dynasty was through poet Dandin. He was considered as the major Sanskrit scholar who wrote Das Kumar Charitam, wherein he has proposed many fascinating stories of 10 boys. And he was considered as, he was very respected at the king's place. And after joining the Pallava kings, he wrote Kavya Darsha, which is considered as one of the monumentary work in Sanskrit poetry. He also wrote Avanti Sundari Katha. So that was poet Dandin. Through him, the Sanskrit literature spreaded across Indian continent. Not only that, poet Dandin's work was a part of major universities like Takshashila, Nalanda, Vikramshila, and his work also reached to China and many other East Asian countries. And after this time, we have our major, our Mahakavya, which got spreaded across the East Asian countries. For example, there is Balinese puppetry show, shadow puppetry show, which is called Venkalit, and in which they represent various incidences of Ramayana and Mahabharata through puppetry. And there is another Wine Tapping, which is a mass dance drama, from Java, wherein they also perform various incidences of Ramayana and Mahabharata in dance formats. So let us have a look at the Vankalit, how it depicts various stories uh, of our ancient Mahakavyas. Let me just take you to the video. Shall I?
You will have to share the tab because when you see the option of share tab, you will also
Mhm.
see the option of sharing the audio.
Okay, from tab, right?
Yes, you can
Okay.
go to share screen and just go to share a tab.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. And I just need to play video, right?
Yes.
Audible?
Yeah, audible, audible.
Ya, saya belajar dari Bapak, setelah itu membuat sesuatu karakter baru untuk menjadi diri sendiri, belajar dari tradisi, mengembangkan seninya untuk supaya tradisi bisa diterima oleh modern people. Biasanya erat hubungannya dengan Tuhan, manusia, dan segala hidupnya, segala kehidupan di dunia. Itu memang selalu kalau wayang itu lebih komplit daripada tarian yang lain, karena wayang itu erat hubungannya dengan sebelumnya harus minta anugerah Tuhan.
The fish supposed to dealing with the spirituality.
Ya, biasanya dasarnya adalah suara bagus, movement the puppet supaya bagus, geraknya, dan supaya harus juga menarikan wayang bagus, membuat karakter atau belajar musik, tahu bagaimana untuk connect dengan musik. Karena deep filosofi, sebab di dalam hidup ini adalah illusion, bayangan. Saya harap orang di sini senang menonton, karena itu mungkin saya bisa kasih membagi pengetahuan apa yang saya tahu, supaya saya belajar banyak juga dari sini, dan apa yang saya punya saya mau kasih gitu.
The ceremony, not attack the enemy, not play music.
Ya, karena wayang itu adalah dunia yang kecil, sama dengan alam juga. Itu artinya wayang. Karena itu menonton wayang itu sama seperti melihat diri sendiri gitu.
So it's basically shadow puppetry, wherein they use this puppetry to depict various stories of our Mahakavya, Ramayana and Mahabharata. Okay, similarly, we have Wayang Topping, which is mass dance drama. We will not see the whole video. It is just to give you, the flavor of, how this various type of art formats are used to spread our culture across in various countries. So let's have a look at Wayang Topping, which is mass drama of Java. Let me just take it there. Okay. Will not see the whole video, right? It is just to get you that feel. Okay, so
That's very interesting. Thank you for sharing both the videos, and I hope that you could share it with me so that I can pass it on in the WhatsApp group.
yes, Dr. Nidhi, I'll share all the resources. There are many good books through which one can explore about the overseas spread of IKS, and one of the book, if one wants to learn about the maritime roots of ancient India, then one can refer to this book, The Ocean of Churn by Sanjeev Sanyal.
Sanjeev
Very
Sanyal,
interesting.
yeah. Yes, Sri Sanjeev Sanyal, he is a member of the Prime Minister's Economic Advisory Council, and he has done
Yes,
great work on the
and on
maritime
maritime
shipbuilding as well.
shipbuilding, yes, and
Shipbuilding.
we soon have, I think, ship museum here at Lothal in Ahmedabad.
Correct, correct,
Uh,
right.
I mean, if one wants to explore the indigenous trade routes, Uttarapath and Dakshinapath, then this is very interesting book, Satwa by Dr. Moti Chandra.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
and so I'll share all the details. I'll share the details of all these books, and one wants to explore, the Eastern and Western spread of Indian culture. Then this is, I think, a very interesting book, The Golden Roads by William Dalrymple.
Yes, William Dalrymple was in news recently. I think one of our future resource persons, Pramod Kumar sir, he has critically examined the work of William Dalrymple. Though I have not
Uh-huh.
read the book, but if anybody is interested, I can share that YouTube lecture, because
Yes.
some people who are into IKS have appreciated his work, whereas some others have looked at it very critically. Yeah.
Okay, that would be interesting.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, even I found some of the dimensions of this books that is to be overlooked. But yeah, I mean, it would be great to explore like how his work has been seen critically by various experts.
Correct. So it's 7:45. So do you want to take 5 minutes to kind of conclude? I think in the interest of time, if we move towards the conclusion, then we could also take discussion and
I'll just take probably I'll just take 5 more minutes. Is that fine?
Sure. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Let me just conclude the session with the important or one of the important political connection of India with Southeast Asia. So when we see Indian connection in Southeast Asia, it's very, very interesting. So one of the influencing dynasty in Southeast Asia was Khmer Empire, right, which is in the current day Vietnam, Cambodia region. So Jayavarman II established one of the most strong, rich, and prosperous empire in Southeast Asia. And the interesting story is this Khmer Empire see its roots in India. So the story is when Indian merchants were traveling to Southeast Asia in the search of gold, because the Southeast Asia was considered as Savarna Bhumi. There was ample gold available in a Southeast Asian country. So along with merchants, and there were travelers, students, priests, Brahmins. They're also traveling to Southeast Asia. And the Brahmin called Kaundinya, he reached to Cambodia, wherein there is a mention of fight between Brahmin Kaundinya and local Naga princess Meera. And Kaundinya defeated Meera in that fight. And Meera got impressed by Kaundinya, and she got married to Brahmin Kaundinya. And that's how they laid the root of Khmer Empire. So this Khmer kings, they trade their route to India. And it is very common in Southeast Asian country wherein king got married to the Brahmin girls, because they believe that Brahmins are the one who brought prosperity, knowledge to the Southeast Asian country. Apart from that, so they erected even the temple, which is called Fonda Temple, wherein this Kaundinya and Naga prince met, wherein they try to recreate the Indian place of so this place is they consider this temple as Meru Parvata, and the river near this temple is considered as Yamuna. Apart from this, there are many interesting stories about the travel of Indian, and especially the Odissi and the Bengali merchants to Sri Lanka. So they were using monsoon winds to travel to Sri Lanka, and they were not able to move away to the Southeast Asian countries easily. So they decided to stick to the shore, right? And they moved to Sri Lanka. And it is very common to worship a lion in the eastern part of India. And these people, those who came to Sri Lanka from the eastern part of India, they are known as Sinhalese people of Sri Lanka, right? And that is the reason you find a lion in the many emblems of Sri Lanka. There is also a very interesting story of our own Pallava dynasty. wherein the king Parmeshwara Varman, he died without any heir, and the whole kingdom was under threat. So the learned people of his kingdom, they decided to search for the collateral dynasty, and they reached to the current day Vietnam, from where they find their family lineage, and they bring back 12-year-old son of his brother, who later on became the very important, or the very famous Pallava king Nandivarman too. Right, he came back and he took the throne. There are very interesting stories in Jataka. In Jataka stories also mention of trade, and how the goddess Manimekhala save the travelers, those who are traveling across the seas. And even with the alliance of Khmer Empire and Pallavas, there are many world famous architectural monuments are erected in and throughout the Southeast Asia. And one of the important is Angkor Wat Temple, which is considered as the biggest religious monument in the world. Okay, apart from this cultural, literary, and religious political spread, the spread of Indian scientific thoughts is also one of the important component of spread of Indian knowledge system. So when with the beginning of Islamic era, the script written by Brahmagupta, which is known as the Great Hind in the Arabic literature, was sent to the Khalifa, and wherein the Brahmagupta had mentioned about all the scientific invention in ancient India, which was interpreted by Wazir Khalid ibn Barmak, who had the Buddhist root, and he was the one who translated the Sanskrit work to the Arabian one. And then slowly and gradually, through the Muhammad ibn Musa Khwarizmi, who was considered as Zoroastrian in the Middle Eastern part, the scientific discovery slowly and gradually reached to European countries. Okay, thank you so much. With this, I'll end my presentation. Dhanyavad.
Dhanyavad so much, Dr. Neha. It was as if we were moving from one period of antiquity, one period of history, to another, exploring how Bharatiya Gyan has not stayed within the boundaries of India, but has traversed to different parts of the world. I mean, we can imagine how this would have happened at that point in time without modern means of transportation, and communication must have been really challenging. And I think that also tells us a lot about the character of India as a civilization and Indian knowledge systems, how open and accepting we were in terms of sharing our knowledge system with other people, people of other civilizations, and how this knowledge exchange. I mean, today we live in a globalized, modernized era where supposedly the world is without borders. So knowledge exchange is much easier. I mean, just on one click, I could download the paper written by an Argentinian scholar. But back then, this would have been really challenging. And so, for example, as you said, the Chinese scholar traveled for 6 long years to come to India. study in Takshashila University, which really meant that all our ancient universities, Vikramshila, Vallapi, Takshashila, Nalanda, their recognition and their academic stature was spread far and wide. So it's been a very engaging, very informative presentation, and I'm very sure that you would have done tons and tons of research to put this together, especially engaging us with pictures and videos. So thank you so much. The floor is open. I invite participants if they have any questions, comments, or insights, or if you want to share anything, please go ahead. If there is any question, you could also post it in the chat box, but I request all of us to be brief in the interest of time. Rita Ji is asking, please share your course details on masters in IKS. Okay. I think she's inquiring about the PG program that you're currently enrolled in.
Okay. So Rita ji, it's a MA, Masters of Arts in IKS, Indian Knowledge System. So it's a 2-year full-time offline program, right? So we had to be at university campus for lectures, for offline lectures.
Okay, means it cannot be online. It cannot be online. Like it is not.
No,
possible.
it's not. No, it's not online. It is run by Gujarat University, and we have to be there on campus for our lectures.
Okay.
Yeah, but Rita ji, if you're looking for online programs, there are a couple. And I request that you join our IKS Research Enthusiasts group, where we keep on posting such information. So many universities like BHU, even my own university, MSU, they are offering offline courses, but there are a couple of institutions. For example, I know of the Bhishma School of Indic Studies in Pune, which is doing some online courses. But yeah, I have to trace that chat track.
I actually gone through that, but some of them are not recognized by UGC. So when I heard about Gujarat, and I just when she was going through her session, I actually checked that Gujarat is been recognized. And being attending this session for 3 days, now I just feel ki this 10 days FDP won't be sufficient enough, because the kind of knowledge this field is providing us, I think everybody should know more about each and every aspect. So when she was saying, I actually went through the syllabus of Gujarat, and I was fascinated by looking at each and every module with so much of detail. But unfortunately, I'm staying in Mumbai and it is in Gujarat, and being a faculty, I can't go offline. That's why I was asking for an online program, if I can really do it.
Even this 2 years are, they just gives us cursory look at the repository of knowledge that we have in our Indic knowledge system. So I think 2 years are not enough.
So do let me know, how can I join that research group? At least something more I need to understand about this program. So definitely I will go ahead with something else if I'm not able to go for a master course.
Sure, definitely. I'll just put the link of that WhatsApp group for everyone here in the chat box. So it's basically a collective. It's a WhatsApp group where we are putting opportunities in terms of webinars, conferences, FDPs, short courses, talks, etc. But everything. Just a minute.
Really, thank you, ma'am, for keeping such a session, because you have really enlightened and have completely diverted my vision. I think this program will be a roadmap for me to take up an IKS as a new frontier for teaching, because I have been a commerce faculty, and after doing 3-4 days session, I feel so much to learn. And being teachers, knowledge gaining is endless. So so I just want to go ahead with this knowledge and learn more about it.
Definitely. So this WhatsApp group that I was referring to, it is simply a collective of like-minded individuals who are interested in IKS, and we are together for research, for collaboration, for sharing information about any events, FDPs, conferences, academic programs, courses, sessions pertaining to IKS. If you are in Mumbai, Ritaji, IIT Bombay's Indian Knowledge System Cell is also doing some wonderful work on IKS. Of course, I think they are doing it more from the management perspective, but you could check Professor Ashish Pandey. He's associated with IIT Bombay, and I think IIT Bombay and IIT Roorkee. These are two IITs who are doing wonderful work pertaining to IKS is happening, as far as I have observed their activities. So
okay, I'll check with that. Thank you so much, ma'am, for giving this information.
yes, Geeta Sriji, yes, on the Swayam platform there are courses on IKS. I think there are 3 courses. There are 2 courses on IKS on the MOOC platform. One is, Neeraji, just give me a moment. One is IKS from a STEM perspective, and one is IKS from a social sciences and humanities perspective. So as far as I remember, Swayam has these 2 courses. So if you are from the STEM background, you could join the STEM course. If you're from the social sciences and humanities background, you could join that course. Anybody from the management background, you can check Professor B. Mahadevan's courses on IKS, Bhagavad Gita, management studies, etc. He's done some wonderful work on IKS and management, and he ran a very popular course at IIM Bengaluru, which was, as I said, when a lot of us were not doing IKS, there were many others who were doing IKS, and Professor Mahadevan, whose textbook we have recommended in the group, he has done some very interesting courses in IIM Bengaluru on Bhagavad Gita and management lessons. So yeah. Okay, anybody else? I did see some comments in the chat section about modern education, about Western education, but yeah, please feel free to share anything. Meanwhile, I'll just share the WhatsApp group link with all of you in the chat box. Yes, Doctor, is there anything that you would like to reflect on?
Oh, yes. Parmeshwara is asking, he's saying about the modern education, and we are blindly following the Western education system. Parmeshwara, I would recommend you to really read this book by D.J. Apte on universities in ancient India. One of the important component that I found in this book is how the whole education system was working, and how teachers and acharyas were the one who was leading the whole education system, right? And how they were supported by the whole society, right? As I said, in Taksashila, for example, in Nalanda, the funds were coming, far from the Indonesian king as well. There were Indonesian king who were funding some of the buildings of Nalanda University, right? Even the people were, without asking anything, people were felicitating all the work of university, and how exactly the student-teacher relationship was, how students were getting evaluated, what was the teaching pedagogy. Everything is very, very interesting. And this book is available online in PDF format. So you can download it and read it. Very interesting book.
Yes, and I think if anybody is interested in exploring ancient Indian education system, there is one book by Shri Dharampal ji, The Beautiful Tree.
Yes.
The
Beautiful
destruction
Tree.
of The Beautiful Tree by Shri Dharampal. I think what we should do as a collective group is each one of us should read this book, and we should have discussions on this book. So Beautiful Tree by
Yes.
Shri Dharampal. And if there's anybody who's done good work on ancient India's education system. Building on the works of Sri Dharampal is Miss Sahana Singh. She's written 2 books about ancient Indian education system. If you just go to Amazon and type Sahana Singh, you will find the books written by her. It's like a documentation of our ancient Indian education system and what were its strengths and how did we falter. So she's extensively documented and done historical research in that area, and she has also delivered lectures on YouTube. Yashodhara ji is asking about book related to Indian female rishis. Yashodhara ji, immediately to my mind, I can't think of any book. If I do, I'll have to find out and get back to you. But on the philosophical aspects of Indian knowledge system, I think there are good books on Hindu philosophy, Darshan, Shastra, which would be a very, a recommended read. I'm just trying to open a document that is handy to me and share some books. I think in today's session, what is also very interesting is that we have talked about Sri Sanjeev Sanyal's book, Sri Apte's book. So there are readings on Indian philosophy. For example, there's the Essentials of Indian Philosophy by M. Hiriyanna, Outlines of Indian Philosophy, and an Introduction to Indian Philosophy by Satish Chandra Chatterjee and Dhirendra Mohan Dutt. So these are books that you could refer to if you are looking at exploring Darshan Shastra.
Yeah, and Yashodhara ji, many a times you get book in the local language. For example, if you want to learn about Indian female rishis, you will find a few books from Sastu Sahitya, but those books will be in Gujarati, right? So there are a few books about female rishis and even female Indian female warriors, right? From Sastu Sahitya, you may get those books in Gujarati if you can read Gujarati.
Yeah, if you do want to read about Indian women who have contributed to history and civilizational renaissance, then I think Dr. Vikram Sampath's book, Brave Hearts of Bharat, that is the best book. And if you don't want to really get into some deep research-based book and you just want to start exploring the subject in a very basic, simple way, then picking this book by Dr. Vikram Sampath, Brave Hearts of Bharat, will be a good first read.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay, so are there any more questions? Otherwise, I would suggest that we move towards the conclusion of today's session. I'm so sorry, I'm just navigating both the laptop as well as the mobile. Yeah, and I'm really sorry for the noise disturbance from my end. I'm not sitting in my study room, I'm sitting downstairs. So thank you, Dr. Neha, for this session. And now I would like to invite Professor Geeta Chowdhury, Professor of Sociology from Shahid Mangal Pandey Government PG Girls College, to deliver the vote of thanks. Professor Geeta, kindly deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Nidhi madam. आपका आभार, मुझे आभार ज्ञापन के लिए कॉल करने के लिए। इस श्रेणी में मैं सबसे पहले आभार ज्ञापन के लिए हमारी आज की रिसोर्स पर्सन डॉक्टर निधि रावल मैडम का हृदय से आभार व्यक्त करना चाहूंगी। आपके लेक्चर के लिए आभार बहुत छोटा शब्द है, हालांकि निधि मैडम ने उसको बहुत ही सुंदर तरीके से समराइज कर दिया है और उसके बाद मेरे लिए कुछ गुंजाइश उसमें नहीं है, लेकिन फिर भी 2 चीजों के आधार पर मैं उसको देख रही हूँ। जैसे एक तो इंडियन नॉलेज सिस्टम, आज का लेक्चर पूरा गागर में सागर था। ये अभी हमारी पार्टिसिपेंट जो रीता मैडम कह रही थी कि ऐसा लग रहा था कि जैसे आप हमें उसी एरा में ले गई हैं, उसी युग में ले गई हैं, और बिल्कुल लग रहा था जैसे हम सिल्क रूट से और स्पाइस रूट से जो है हम ट्रैवल कर रहे हैं अपनी कल्चर को लेके, अपनी ट्रेड को लेके, अपने कॉमर्स को लेके। और ये बात तो सही है कि आपने बहुत ही सुंदर तरीके से इसको बताया कि मार्क्स भी कहते हैं जब इकोनॉमी ट्रेवल करती है तो सिर्फ इकोनॉमी ट्रेवल नहीं करती है, उसके साथ बहुत सारी चीजें ट्रेवल करती हैं। और दूसरी चीज जो आपके लेक्चर को में मैं देख रही थी आज, कि भारत को विश्व गुरु क्यों कहा जाता है, आपके लेक्चर में पूरी तरह समाहित था। और मुझे सच में बहुत हृदय से, और सभी पार्टिसिपेंट ने इसको फील किया होगा, प्राउड किया होगा कि हम विश्व गुरु क्यों थे। केवल ज्ञान ही नहीं, सब चीजों में हमने हर जगह, जैसे लग रहा था पूरे विश्व में हमने अपनी पताका फहराई होगी उस वक्त, या और वो होगी नहीं, फहराई थी, क्योंकि आपने बहुत माइन्यूटली टेक्स्ट एविडेंस से, कल्चरल ट्रेड से, और क्या कहेंगे, आर्किटेक्चरल ट्रेड से, बहुत सुंदर छोटे छोटे एविडेंस से उसको प्रूव करके बताया है। और इस संदर्भ में बहुत सारे रिसोर्सेज भी हमारे सामने रखे हैं, जिनको पढ़कर हमारे पार्टिसिपेंट्स जो हैं लाभान्वित होंगे। और मुझे आशा नहीं, पूरा विश्वास है इस बात का कि आज का लेक्चर जो था बहुत ही लाभान्वित रहा सभी के लिए, स्पेशली मेरे लिए। मैं पूरी तरह से आपके लेक्चर में खोई हुई थी और उसी रूट पे मैं पूरा ट्रेवल कर रही थी। दूसरा IKS का जो दूसरा एक हम कहेंगे उद्देश्य है, वो ये है कि उस पुरानी परंपरा को हम नई परंपरा में कैसे जीवित करेंगे या कैसे उसको जोड़ेंगे। तो इस संदर्भ में भी आपका लेक्चर बहुत सारगर्भित मुझे लगा, क्योंकि चाहे किसी भी डायमेंशन का व्यक्ति, किसी भी फैकल्टी का या किसी भी ब्रांच का व्यक्ति यहाँ पे बैठा हुआ हो, हर व्यक्ति आपके लेक्चर से रिसर्च के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से भी कनेक्ट कर पा रहा होगा कि कैसे हम ट्रेड एंड कॉमर्स के वहाँ पे रिसर्च का स्कोप देख सकते हैं, कैसे सोशियोलॉजी में स्कोप देखा जा सकता है, या कैसे हिस्ट्री में, या कैसे पॉलिटिकल साइंस में स्कोप देखा जा सकता है। और तीसरा जो बहुत ही सुंदर बात मुझे लगी, निधि मैडम ने भी बहुत सारी चीजें शेयर की, हालांकि परसों ही वो बात कह रही थी कि हम मेन स्ट्रीम में इसको क्यों नहीं पढ़ रहे हैं, लेकिन IIT और गुजरात यूनिवर्सिटी अगर उसको मेन स्ट्रीम में ला रहे हैं तो बहुत जल्दी ही हमें इसके बहुत सुंदर परिणाम देखने को मिलेंगे। और जो हमारे समक्ष दुविधा चल रही है कि लोग या बच्चे, हमारे स्कॉलर ये सोचते हैं कि क्या ये कुछ था भी या सब कुछ ऐसे ही है, तो बहुत जल्दी जो है ये हम लोगों के कॉग्निटिव मैप में बैठा पाएंगे कि ये सब कुछ। हाँ, आज का लेक्चर मुझे आपका इस पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से बहुत ही सारगर्भित लगा। आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद मैडम। इसी सीरीज में मैं महाविद्यालय की प्राचार्य प्रोफेसर अंजू सिंह मैडम का धन्यवाद ज्ञापन करना चाहूंगी। उन्हीं के मार्गदर्शन में हम ऐसे बड़े आयोजन कर पाते हैं। हमारी IQC कोऑर्डिनेटर प्रोफेसर लता कुमार मैडम, जो अगर हम, मुझे तो क्योंकि अच्छा लगता है जुड़ना, बहुत सारे लोगों को ये कहेंगे कि लता मैडम जो है छुट्टियों में भी चैन से नहीं बैठने देती है लेकिन इस बहुत सुंदर एकेडमिक कोलैबोरेशन के लिए हमारी IQC कोऑर्डिनेटर लता मैडम का बहुत बहुत हृदय से आभार मैं व्यक्त करना चाहूंगी। और इसी सीरीज में ऑर्गेनाइजिंग कमेटी का बहुत आभार है। और मेरे नजरिए में लास्ट बट नॉट द लिस्ट, बहुत ही ध्यान से सुनने वाले, इंटरैक्टिव सेशन बनाने वाले सभी पार्टिसिपेंट का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। और निधि मैडम का, जो इतने सुंदर तरीके से शुरू से लेकर लास्ट तक ही बिल्कुल सेशन को जीवित रखती हैं। और किसी का भी ऑनलाइन प्लेटफॉर्म से, हालांकि आजकल जो ट्रेंड चल पड़ा है लोग शुरू करके इधर उधर चले जाते हैं, पर मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है निधि मैडम के अंदर वो पूरा एक पोटेंशियल है कि कैसे ऑनलाइन पे भी मैं लोगों को जो है जोड़ के रख सकती हूँ और वो इधर उधर ना जाएं। इसके लिए आप सभी का बहुत बहुत, इस खूबसूरत आयोजन के लिए, इस शैक्षिक आयोजन के लिए सभी का हृदय से बहुत बहुत आभार। थैंक यू।
धन्यवाद गीता मैडम। आपके वोट ऑफ थैंक्स के लिए भी चैट बॉक्स में अप्रिसिएशन गीताश्री मैडम ने लिखा है, और उन्होंने मेरे हिसाब से बहुत सही लिखा है कि आपने जो 2 पॉइंट्स सामने रखे कि कैसे नेहा मैडम ने हमें पूरा हिस्ट्री में ले गई, एंड आई ऑल्सो फील द सेम। मुझे भी लगा कि मैं उस टाइम ट्रैवल का एक अनुभव हो पाया है हमें नेहा के सेशन के द्वारा। और हालांकि थोड़ा अंत में समय नहीं था, नेहा जी का जो एक्सपर्टीज है स्टेम सब्जेक्ट में, साइंस, टेक्नोलॉजी, इंजीनियरिंग, मैथमेटिक्स की ये रिसर्चर रही हैं, आगे कभी भी हमें अवसर मिलेगा तो स्टेम के विषय में आईकेएस के बारे में हम इनसे जरूर और ज्यादा जानकारी प्राप्त करेंगे। और कई सारे ऐसे रिसोर्सेज हैं। हमारा ये प्रयत्न है कि सिर्फ सेशन में जो ज्ञान मिल रहा है वही नहीं, एडिशनली भी जो रिसोर्सेज हैं, किताबों के नाम, रेफरेंसेस के नाम, लिंक्स और लोगों से जुड़ना और एक्सचेंज करना, मैं सभी पार्टिसिपेंट से अनुरोध करूंगी कि आप और ज्यादा से ज्यादा इंटरैक्ट करें। अनम्यूट करके शायद सबको बोलने का अवसर ना मिले, बट चैट बॉक्स है हमारे पास और हम इसको ज्यादा से ज्यादा इंटरैक्टिव और एंगेजिंग बनाकर रखें। So thank you so much, and thanks to all the participants, and my special heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Neha. He's always there with us, supporting NLD in all its initiatives, and as far as her core subject statistics is concerned, she is one of, I can tell every one of you very confidently that she is the best scholar of statistics and mathematics in Gujarat, if not in India. And I am extremely happy to be a witness to her IKS journey as well. And I know that this a presentation like this would require so much of reading, so much of effort, so much of research. So totally commend you for that, and we wish you all the best for your academic journey as well as for your IKS journey, and we hope that we see you more and more often on NLD platform.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nidhi, and thank you so much, Geeta ma'am, for your kind words. और मैं आपकी ये बात से तो बिल्कुल भी एग्री करती हूँ कि जब डॉक्टर निधि सेशन संभाल रही होती है तो वो किसी को यहाँ वहाँ हिलने नहीं देती है. I mean, she has that, बिल्कुल, she has that intellectual rigor.
Yes.
In whichever topic she is sharing the session, वो उस तरीके से सबको जोड़ के बांध के रखती है कि I am always tension free whenever she is there to moderate my session. I feel so lucky कि मेरे अब तक के सारे सेशन उन्होंने ही मॉडरेट किए हैं, तो she is strongest pillar of support for me. So